Hey guys, welcome back to another React video. Today I got one about wasps. So this house looks like it's infested with wasps. So we'll see how that goes. There's a whole lot of nope involved in wasps. I'm terrified of them. But if you could give me a subscribe, a like, a comment, whatever you feel like doing. I appreciate any support you give, and tune in for more daily content, daily reaction content at least. And we'll go ahead and get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Hornet King channel, and in this video I'll be removing a massive German yellow jacket colony that made its nest inside of a client's bedroom wall. And this thing was right behind his headboard, and he could hear them buzzing and chewing and rustling around inside the wall cavity, so he called me to come and get them out. So I came out, I cut the nest out of the wall, vacuumed everybody up, and brought it home to feed it to my animals. Here's the video, check it out.
Uh-oh.
I'm the Hornet King, and I removed some incredible and insane wasps.
No. Ooh, look at them. Talk about a job that would terrify me. It's like not getting stung isn't a huge deal, but it's just the actions of them. It scares the crap out of me. Like, look at that little bastard. No. Even I got a little bit from seeing that. A little bit of fear came in. Are you guys scared of wasps, hornets, etc., bees?
Up underneath this window here.
They all kind of act the same.
So these are German yellow jackets, and they were able to make entry into the wall cavity from underneath of this window. Now our houses here in the United States are just horribly made. They are made out of 2x4s and drywall,
fair statement,
siding, which is super easy for any kind of pest to get into the wall cavity. So that was what was happening. They were finding a compromised spot from underneath the siding and making their way in between the plywood on the, well, it wasn't even really plywood, just particle.
In America, a lot of times they go for speed over quality, and it's terrible.
Space, and they started building this.
Start doing some contractor videos, maybe. Those are pretty crazy.
Expand it to make it bigger, so they start chewing away the wall material. So they were chewing away the particle board on the outside wall, and they were chewing through the drywall on the inside wall.
Ooh.
And when you see me start to remove this nest out, you can actually see the vinyl siding through this wall hole, or through the hole in the drywall. And knowing that they're able
That's
to
a poorly made house
out, and they were practically through both sides, is pretty incredible. It's not so much saying as much for the yellow jackets as much as it is for the poor quality of our houses here in the United States. We do have some old houses that are made out of brick and stone and everything else, but majority of our houses that are built like...
You look at some of the houses in like England and Europe around that area, they're hundreds of years old and they're still standing and still functional. In America, our houses deteriorate in like 50 years. It's ridiculous.
Our houses are meant to breathe here, so there's corrugation and perforations into our homes, and it allows for any kind of pest insect to get into, and in this case, yellow jackets, to get into the wall cavities, ceiling cavities, flooring joists, whatever. So
actually, let's look that up real quick. I'm kind of curious about that. How long does, if I can type, a typical U.S. house last? 90 to 100. So I was about half that. But some of them that are shoddily built, you know, they'll only last 50 years or so. Anyway, I just wanted to look that up real quick. Here we go, back into the video. Boom.
First thing I do is I start vacuuming up the individuals and start cutting the hole a little bit bigger so I can extract this nest out in its entirety.
That is insane.
Because if I start separating the layers of comb, that's going to be releasing all the ones that are kind of hunkered down in between the layers. It's going to release them into the cavity, and that's more I have to vacuum up later. I was able to close off this room from the rest of the house, so I wasn't too concerned about the yellow jackets getting out of the wall space. It's more just for how long I'm going to have to be there and how much extra work I'm going to have to do if I'm releasing a bunch of yellow jackets into the space. Which you can see, I was already releasing a lot into the space anyway. So the homeowner was fine with me cutting whatever I had to cut to get them out. So I was just
Yeah,
making
just
it
get them
easier
out.
myself and making the hole just a little bit bigger. Is really no different to repair a 20 by 20 inch hole of drywall or a 10 by 10 inch hole of drywall. It's virtually the exact same thing for the person doing the repair. So just taking my time and vacuuming up a lot of the adults as I can as I see them crawling out from between the layers of comb. You can already see that there's a lot out from between the layers, what there were when I first opened up the cavity. And so just making a few extra cuts. Getting
Trying to think what accent that is, so I can locate around where it's at.
And then
Pronounces some things differently.
Pull the whole nest out in one solid
Not
piece.
bad, but
In this
just
colony,
different.
There's probably anywhere from 2,500 to 3,500.
I recognize that accent, I just can't place it.
Season. That fluctuates. That's not a finite amount during the actual production of the nest. That number will fluctuate, so it's not like there will be expanding until they reach that number. That number is a cumulative over the course of a time. That's the peak amount of numbers. So workers are being replaced as they die out in the field. They're dying naturally inside the nest. The queen will die. Larvae die. But I'm just guesstimating at the peak season when there's the most amount inside the nest at one time is 2,500 to 3,500. So it
No,
gets a little
thank
bit
you.
confusing when people say,
No,
"Oh,
thank
there's
you on that."
3,500 here right now." I'm not saying necessarily here in this particular shot there's 3,500, but just over the course of the
Oh, I don't doubt
colony,
there is in this situation, but
there was probably 2,500 to 3,500
that is
individuals
insane
in this
numbers.
nest, which is absolutely insane numbers.
It's almost like I've seen it before.
You can see that this probably
I
has
assure
about
you, I
10 layers of
haven't.
comb. I honestly didn't even count them, but there's probably about 10 layers of comb here, and for every patty of comb, there's tons and hundreds of individual
There's
cells
more.
that
He's digging
accumulate
out
into,
more.
which then develop into adult wasps. So
If it's
you can
that
kind of just
whole
guesstimate
wall,
by how many holes there are,
which it could be.
Use some of the cells a couple times. Which
You
I
can
show
see some of the
later. You
brick.
can see some eggs laid, multiple eggs laid into the same cell that had already been used. So there's some theories out there that yellow jackets do not reuse the same
Or
cell
not brick,
twice.
whatever that is up top there.
That's a faux pas. That's a misconception. They actually will reuse the same cell a couple times. But at the end of the season here, a lot of the individuals that are in the nest are new males and queens. That also trips people up. They often think that there's only one queen. Well, there is. There's only one founding queen, but at the end of the season, the queen starts laying what we call reproductives, which become males or becomes female queens. What differentiates the difference between a female worker and a female queen is that the queen is able to be reproductive. She's able to mate with a male and then start her own colony the following season as a queen. Workers cannot mate. They can lay eggs. They have an ovipositor. They can lay sterile eggs, which become males. The queens can lay fertile eggs, which become female.
I didn't know the males could lay eggs. That's interesting.
It just depends. But look at the size of this nest. I mean, this nest was humongous, which might even be an understatement. It was enormous. Just the amount of weight to this thing. It's only paper and insects. That's it. But the thing has weight to it, has bulk to it.
Jesus.
But look inside this cavity. Now that I put that nest down, you can see the light coming through. So it's actually glaring through the vinyl siding. The only integrity on the outside of this wall was vinyl siding, which is just absolutely insane. So just vacuuming up some more, and then here, look at all these adults. There's a lot of these are males, a lot of these are queens. So towards the end of the season, the queen will start laying reproductives, which become male or queens, and they kind of just hunker down inside the space until it's time to leave and mate and start their own colony for the following season.
I'm sure they're stinging him like
once the
crazy.
with a male, they fly off and hibernate.
But he's probably used to
somewhere
it.
And wait out the winter time to then reemerge in the spring to start finding a new place to live to start her own colony. So all these colonies, all these individuals were started by one single founding queen. All of this comb, all of these numbers, everything was founded by one single queen, which to me is just absolutely insane. The amount of numbers of eggs that she has to lay a day, because these nests are start like late May, early June. I'm removing this at like late August, early September, and you have to think that in that short amount of time, these thousands of adults have been hatched, and that's just incredible numbers, and that's an incredible feat of work for a single wasp to do. Of course, as the colony progresses, time goes on, workers start laying eggs too, and that's how males are formed and things. But there's some speculation that the queen.
I still can't place that accent. It's bothering me.
Eggs, but that's a faux pas too. That's not really true. In my studies, I've seen female.
I might have to look it up after this.
Become males, so it's just a really wild structure, and sometimes towards the end of the season, it's a little bit of a battle between the queens and the female workers as to who lays eggs and whatnot. And sometimes the workers mutinize against their queen. That's not uncommon either. Sometimes I open up these nest cavities and I pull out.
Jesus Jones, there's still a ton of them.
A lot of males inside, which means they probably either killed their queen and mutinized against her, or she died naturally, and the workers just start laying eggs because there's no queen there to police them anymore to keep them from laying eggs.
Makes sense.
It's a tornado of information I know I'm throwing at you guys, but
I appreciate it. I'm learning things. I like it.
A lot of misconceptions out there, especially on YouTube, about how wasps, how they mate or how they develop.
I could always use more information.
Simply to how they breathe. I've seen some YouTube videos of explanations of how.
That's kind of what this channel is about, just learning and reacting and all that jazz.
They have spiracles, which are the segmented parts of their abdomen. So their abdomen pulses and kind of acts like an accordion, and that draws air into those spiracles to process oxygen.
So it was just that hole right there. Okay.
So that's how they breathe. So when
I was starting to think it'd be the whole wall, and I was about to lose my crap.
Not much in my vacuum anymore, like I used to. Just regular water's fine. They're going to drown. The centrifugal force of the wasp being sucked into the vacuum usually kills them, but if it doesn't, then the water kind of finishes them off. Look at all these adults that I'm sucking out from the top here. So this is why I leave windows closed, but leave like the blinds pulled open, so that way that the yellow jackets are attracted to the sunlight and they cake around these windows. And then I can just, at the end of the removal, after I seal up the hole, I just suck them right off of the window. And
just suck them. Just suck them up.
There's a few still floating around inside the space, but for the
little
most part,
bastards,
they're going, pretty much right to the window. So you'll see here.
Wow.
Some are still moving around. What do you do with the ones that are still moving around? They're not going to last very long there. I usually just kind of dump them out the way they are. Some of them, if they're new queens, they'll fly off and maybe start a new colony around my house. I'd be totally cool.
They'll probably die.
I wanted to feed some of the larvae to my squirrels, and so I was just kind of tweezing them out. Some people like to see the tweezing, so I decided to tweeze out some of the larvae the squirrel to have to eat.
That's interesting. A pet squirrel, and he thought to do larvae?
Cells. You can see a couple little small.
I mean, it makes sense.
Bottom of the cells.
Squirrels eat insects.
Have already been used once, and you can tell that because it has meconium at the bottom, which is the stool of the pupating adult. And so at the end of their pupation, they start releasing their waste through their abdomen, and it kind of cakes to the bottom of the cell. And once they emerge, then the white silk cap is being chewed off by the adult to get out. So there's a little tiny fringe at the top of the cell, there's black junk at the bottom of the cell, and now there's an egg.
Talking over yourself.
It's already been used. This is a reused cell.
The white caps used to be. And look down inside, you see that there's multiple eggs down in there. There's an egg there, but then some of them have like 3 eggs in a spot.
Wow.
Alright, that's probably good enough for now. Come on down there. You snap a picture.
Dang.
I just go feed the squirrel. Squirrel's been in the playhouse.
A pet squirrel, eh?
Squirrel. Hey, little squirrel.
Oh, there he is.
She is.
Oh,
Hey, little squirrel.
that is adorable.
Smell the larva.
It's like snack time.
Smell the larva.
Snack time, yeah.
Come on. Come on.
Nice healthy protein. I didn't even realize you could kind of domesticate squirrels like that. It's kind of domestication a little bit.
She's not even trying to gut them. She's just eating them whole.
But she's getting everything she needs right there, so why bother anywhere else? That is a happy squirrel. Those big eyes. That thing is so adorable. Ooh. Adorable. The hell's that pill bottle right there?
Oh, rain in the face.
Just something for it to play with, I guess.
Here you go.
Oh.
Oh, she's dead. Dead nest.
So they peck at the larva too? Interesting.
Good yellow jacket nest.
Something you don't think about is how many animals eat insects. Insects are such a vital part of the world, you know. Although we don't really like them, they're very important. All right, we kind of get the point of that. But yeah, that's a great video. That's a lot of information too. A lot of good information. So that should be all for this one. Yeah, if you like what you saw, like and subscribe. We'll get some more videos out pretty soon. Thank you.